Well, we hit a pretty major milestone in the restoration. I didn't have it on film, but I had the gib in with the adjustment screw and just lubed it by hand with some whale oil, and everything was moving really smoothly. Now the surfaces, I just have them scraped at this point. They're not flaked yet, and obviously I wanted to make sure before I get into flaking and oil retention and all that stuff, I wanted to verify geometry. So I want to have the knee on the column and use the jack screw as designed and just verify, how straight everything really is. And then you can see the pedestal for the jack screw. It's fully cleaned up, all painted, ready to go. And that's one of the things with this restoration. I mean, it's one thing to paint something and make it look good, but I'm resisting that to ensure that as I restore, I spend the time to get things straight and get them right before I actually paint. So as an example, the pedestal there's no real changes that had to be made to it, so those are some of the things that I've already cleaned up and painted, but the column won't get fixed and painted until I know that all the geometry on all the ways is good. So next step is to get the knee back on and start checking, find out where we're at. I've done some preliminary checks with the column on its back, but I want to make sure with the column and the knee in their normal operating condition. So at this point, I've got the knee on engine hoist, and just getting ready to drop it on the column. Got the column rolled up right now. Again, I haven't done any flaking or anything, just the scraping, at this point I just want to check geometry with the jack screw. So down in there, that's the jack screw coming up through the bearing, so that's important. That gets seated properly. The reason I'm using the come-alongs here is because when you use the engine hoist, it comes down on an arc. And so with the come-alongs, you get a straight pull, and you can lower it down straight in as well. So we got the gib in there, and the adjusting screw. And with the weight off of the knee, I'm hoping that this will slide in here nice. It appears to be. I'm going to tighten that up as much as I can and then just back it off just a little bit. So the next thing that goes down in there, this is the bevel gear that drives the jack screw, and then we got the shaft that comes through here and mates up with that. So we gotta get that together now. So I think I've figured out what's going on in here. No, that won't even move. I couldn't get these two gears to mesh together, and I think what's happened is the bearing, I've got it upside down. There's a spacer in it, and so this gear here is sitting too high, so I got to pull that back out and get the bearing flipped around and see if that makes it any better for us. So I've got the knee supported, the gib is in, and I've got it tightened up pretty good, but still I've got it supported with this bracket that I've made up and been using all along. And so right now what I'm doing, I'm just actually just hand cranking the jack screw from below, and the alignment's really good with that bearing and that shaft. And so once I get that down below, from the bottom there's three socket-headed cap screws that just hold in a flange that holds the bearing in, so I got to work from the bottom to get that taken care of. So the bearing is flipped around now, and just trying to use the actual jack screw and just wind it up instead of dropping the knee down. I think if you were to drop the knee down and the shaft wasn't lined up with that bearing, that wouldn't be a good situation. So it's a little bit more work to do it this way, but I think it's better. It's starting to come into that bearing pocket there now. Yeah, see, once that lines up, that's zero friction. That's a nice fit through there now. So now that should just come up high enough just to deal with the bevel gear there now. So usually when you put the parts together in the right order, things work. So at this point now we just got to put the key in, put the lock nut on there, and then we'll be ready to test out the geometry here. We'll crank the knee up and down and see what we get. What I've got here is it's a 24-inch square sitting on top of the knee, and that's just a 1 thou indicator there right now. This is just to verify that, you know, geometry is close before I go flaking and you know, using these surfaces as good to start putting this thing, you know, back together. So we've got the indicator dialed out there, and I'm going to try and travel about 12 inches here. That's a couple inches, doesn't look like it's moved yet. That's about 4, doesn't look like it's moved. It's about 6, maybe a couple of tenths there. Well, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with that. That's 0. And that's over 9 inches. I don't want to go any further down. There's only a couple inches left on the bottom of the knee anyways. So I'm going to run that test one more time, maybe with a finer dial indicator, get something maybe tenths and see what we get there.